Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first vibrational upgrade clearings and activations call for 2021. Happy full moon in Leo. It's bringing us blessings for good fortune and increased bravery as we can step into the leadership role that we are all a part of. Now that it's 2021, you've got a figurative clean slate, an opportunity to reset and start fresh. Let's make 2021 your year for your greatest flourishing, where you can change and convert yourself from being led by what happens outside of you and in your reaction to it to listening to how you can live up to your own greatest potential. It starts by listening to what's inside of you and to your spirit and soul, along with your strengthened connection to Source. This change in you matters to the world because as you lighten up, your heart and your vibration both uplift, and that helps everyone around. So let's let you all help yourselves to thereby help everyone else. It's really that simple. If you're not sure how, stick around. Dr. Allison has lots to share about this tonight. So switching gears here a little bit, I want to share the news about Dr. Allison's latest book, which released just last week. On our last free call, I was describing to you all how busy Dr. Allison's been. It's just been amazing. She told me the book was finished 2 weeks ago, and then a week later, it's suddenly available on Amazon. I mean, it blew me away. I know I've talked to so many people on Open the Drawbridge calls who are struggling, and then many of you are saying you want to get your own book finished, yet alone how do you even go about getting it published? And then she goes and does it in a matter of weeks, and it publishes in a week, and then it's available, and I have a copy sitting right in front of me, and a few more on the way. So it can happen. You can learn all about that and a lot more from Dr. Allison. So this new masterpiece of hers, it's called The Dragon Master Creatrix, Conversations with a Female Spiritual Teacher for These New Times. And it is fab. And I want to share a little bit about the book. It's written like a story. It's really different from her other books. This book takes you on a fun journey of a woman's path to power. In this story, the woman travels internationally to a retreat to be trained in energy medicine. And while embarked on her journey, she's taken to sacred sites and stone circles and learns how to work with them all, as well as dragons, to help the earth and humanity. Particularly unique is that it's a female spiritual teacher transmitting the secrets of the ancient power mysteries. So, I mean, this is a real true-to-life story. Some of it's fictional, of course, but, I mean, I've been on the retreats, and many others on this call have too, and there's so much in there that's I thought it was all secret, but it's out there. It's for everyone to see. And it's a really fun read. So many topics are covered. There's, love, body image, sex, dealing with your energy, dealing with bullies, anxiety, stress, and working with your intuition. There's a lot in there. I know also that Dr. Allison has a new special announcement she's going to make tonight about the book. But there's already amazing offer. I think I know it's on Vibrational Upgrade in the Facebook group, Sustain a High Vibe and Access Your Magic. And many of you are aware of it, but I'll just tell you now, if you're not aware. If you buy a copy of the book and share your order number with us, you'll be given access to Activate Your Magic, that group program, for 1 month. Plus, you'll get 3 special bonuses, which are activation videos that are created by Dr. Allison while she was at 3 sacred sites. One of them is Loch Ger Stone Circle. The other is the Pyramid of the Sun. It's an ancient Mayan ruin, and the other one is a Pyramid of the Moon. It's a ruin as well, and that was done on the autumn equinox. So, a super cool value. The book's amazing in and of itself, but to get an AYM, Activate Your Magic, plus those other clearings done at sacred sites, it's like, why you can't not do that. So I'm going to tell everyone a little bit about Dr. Allison's background. Lots of you are familiar who are fans, and I'll just go over for those who aren't. So I want to share why she does what she does. So after she graduated from college, she got a master's degree, and her goal was to save the planet, literally. She went into a career in politics, and she was trying to work on the environment through conservation. And it was really difficult because at that time, the machine was really heavily invested in fossil fuels. And then she shifted and realized and listened to that her path, the way to realize that was to work with people one-on-one. So she went and got an international job teaching in Asia. And at that time, she also delved in even deeper to studying subtle energy. And she was doing energy medicine sessions on the side. So she was working in both of those realms. And then she spent a full 10 years in Asia. And she came back with more magic and energy than she ever realized that she had at the time. And that, along with all her experience and practice, formulated the basis of vibrational upgrade. So she's been doing this work for 30 years now. Mind, body, energy healing for so long. She's got her yoga teaching degree. I learned how to meditate from her. I've learned a bit of Qigong. Others have learned a lot. She's got all this knowledge in nutrition, longevity, and being a holistic coach. She's the only one I really know who understands the flow of energy from the physical body and plane to the universe. She's a total pioneer in the field, and she just is so accomplished. She's also a behavioral change specialist and a holistic health coach, as I mentioned. So she's been working with many other cool people in the stage and shared the stage with these people and helped collaborate with them. She's talked with and worked with Bruce Lipton, David Wolfe, Joe Vitale, Krishna Das, Bob Proctor, Reverend Michael Beckwith, Greg Braden, David Wilcox, and Dr. Mercola. Now, let me tell you just a little bit about her previous books. This list is getting longer and longer. It's amazing. Internationally best-selling author Allison. Her books include What If There's Nothing Wrong? She also wrote Vibrational Upgrade, A Conspiracy for Your Bliss, Easing Humanity's Evolutionary Transition. Her next book was Reasonable Dragons, How to Activate Your Field of Possibilities, Where Logical Magic is the New Normal. And that one was endorsed by both Bob Proctor and Joe Vitale. And that one's available on Audible, or it's in book. So, and you really do have to pick up a copy of this Dragon Master Creatrix. It's a beautiful book, and I love the cover, the colors. It's like orange and pink and yellow, and there's a lotus and a crow. It's amazing. I can't wait to hear more from you tonight, Allison. So it's not clear, if it's not clear from what I've told you about her experience. Huh?
Yeah, I just giggled.
Yeah. And your long pursuit of healing, energy medicine, and helping others to reach our highest potential, then everyone just sit back and absorb, because I'm looking forward to hearing what you're going to share with us tonight, Sister. It's going to be amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Sister. Oh, you know what I'm just doing? I'm looking at my bookshelf that's right in front of me right now, one of them, that's the one in the hallway. And,
yep.
You know, you were just talking about the cover of the book, and on the back of the cover, I don't know how many of you have noticed this who have bought the book already, but there's an ibis, which has a lot of meaning for me. It connects in with some of the goddess aspects I work with. And there's an ibis publisher right on my shelf. I got this book at a used bookstore on High Street in Glastonbury the last time I was there, leading retreats, and it's called The Tantric Alchemist.
Huh.
Wow. I didn't even know there was an ibis publisher. How cool is that? So there you go. What does tantric mean? We're not going to get into that now. It's not just about sex. It's really about that union with our higher self and the divine, and that leads to tantra. And so there can be tantric sex when two people are in that state. And so, Sister, thank you for that lovely, warm blast of introduction. We have a lot of new people on the call tonight.
Yeah,
and,
I can see that.
Yeah, and I'm grateful, too, for the patience of all of you lovelies who've been around for years now and sit through that introduction. You might learn something new or hear something new that flags, I could do that, and you go for it. So, and if not, just sitting back and feeling like you can trust this person here, which those of you who've been around know you can. And that takes me into this really, I'm swallowing a little bit in doing what I'm doing because this is a little bit personal. My older brother, I have three, and my older brother last weekend he's the first of the family, my immediate family, to get diagnosed with COVID. He's a teacher in the public school system, local high school here. He's a really well-awarded National History Teacher of the Month, or of the Year rather, a couple of times, and just really go anywhere here locally, and they're like, oh my God, you're blah, blah, blah's sister. I don't want to give his name. So he got COVID, and as soon as he was doing really poorly, and I jumped on sessions with him. This is my first time giving him sessions. He hasn't ever really received from me before, and I'm just gauging if I should say this because I have a client who may be a long-term client weekly for years now, and she lives over in Asia and used to be in the Senate in one of the countries over in Asia, and told me something about Wuhan province where COVID comes from, and I just don't want to really get into it, but let me just allude to what she told me in that one of the sessions. I think it was the third one, so I was doing them every day for my brother since last Saturday. I have been doing them every day, and on the third day, in his throat, there was this nasty, mean, dark energy that is kind of what you perceive when you see how it's ripping across the planet and how it's taking people so harshly down. And it was a meanness, which does correspond to what this client of mine, I'm not telling you directly what she told me about it, but I think some of you can infer what I'm implying. It's just, in the bottom line is, who cares if it's just mean. And so he is doing better. Thank you. He turned a corner yesterday. And we've gotten the momentum going away from the unhealth and have reprogrammed with positive messages of full body health. And it's now the momentum towards health. What I am saying this for you all is because some of the awarenesses I got, let me just take a side note. I've worked directly on somebody already with COVID when it was first in Hong Kong before it even left mainland China. And that person, when I got to him, it was through this client in Asia. It was her friend in the hospital, and he was at like 18% lung capacity in the hospital. And I didn't even do a session on him. I just sent some energy while working with her using his picture, and he was out of the hospital within 3 days. I think it may have been the next day, but I shy away from making any radical claims. And he's been on the mend ever since. And so I had a sense of the virulence of COVID, but I hadn't had the sense yet, like I just said, of the meanness of it from working directly with it. So some of the awarenesses I got from working directly with it was that it seemed to be the antithesis of the all is well vibe. It seemed to be what I was being shown was it makes me want to put to you all the question, how good are you at not worrying? How good are you at not having a problem to chew on? Remembering my first book says the author of What If There's Nothing Wrong? That's the one I wrote my 10th year in Asia. What if there's nothing wrong? How good are you at even wrapping your brain around that? And now move on to how good are you at embodying and living from that? How good are you at not being anxious? So what I was perceiving from the energetics of COVID itself was, it was almost an embodiment of that, which I just asked you questions about. Not all is well, worry, having a problem to fix on, to chew on, to solve, anxious, that not all is well. Almost like so you don't feel you're actually living with all you need provided for you. Almost like if you're not recognizing that you have a roof over your head and you have clothes on your body and you have food and you have health and you have love. And I put to any of you on this call, have you ever let yourself go homeless? I didn't say, have you ever been homeless, did I? I said, have you ever let yourself be homeless? Because when it comes down to it, if any of you have ever been that bad off and you've needed money, I bet you've all of a sudden had the money you've needed. Now, coming out of that bottom level, how good are you, those of you on this call who have that beautiful roof over your heads, or semi-beautiful roof over your heads, and have the basics covered, at least the basics covered? And when you have that, how good are you at not going into problem solving, having worries, being anxious, or not, all is well and I'm taken care of? So I perceived the COVID vibration to be almost like, okay, so you don't notice how you're actually living with all you need and you're worrying? Well, then I'll give you something to worry about. Kind of like that old taunt, I'll give you something to cry about. You guys are following me, yeah? So I haven't talked a lot directly about COVID other than to send healing and do daily Facebook Lives back the first 2 months it started with all of my beloved vibrational upgrade practitioners who are willing to step forward and do that as well. I haven't given a reason. I haven't stepped out philosophically and said why I think this is happening. You guys know I've been talking about the great shift since 2011. So fevers need to peak before they break, right? That is the body's naturalist healing system. It has to peak before you can pop it. So it seems like the recognition, I was just on an interview today, and it's funny, Claire, I've never really heard her say the way she said it at the end of her intro with me, really understands the flow of energy. I've heard her say that before, but the chi, the life force that's all around us. And the English translation of chi, which is Chinese, or prana, which is yogic, or ki, which is of the Reiki, Japanese, or ka, which is Egyptian, it's all translated into English as vital life force energy. And so, keeping that in mind, and I'll come back to that in a minute, it was really sweet how one of my younger brothers, I have two younger ones, and one of them came out of, after we had done, I had given my older brother a session and had reported that he was holding his own, and one of my younger brothers was so grateful for that. He just said, I'm so grateful for this beautiful life. I love everyone so much. And I asked her if I could quote him in that. That's David. Some of you have seen and heard of him before. And just that element of, I'm so grateful for this beautiful life. Direct quote. I wrote it down. I love everyone so much. That heart space of gratitude for life and love. We are shifting from the mind being that dominant force and into the heart. So part of what I'm understanding is that this, and you guys have, some of you have heard me say this before, and it is a part of this grand shift of how we're taking the invisible for granted, the invisible forces that help us sustain life, whether it's love from a mom, unconditional love from a dad, unconditional love from mom, unconditional love from a spouse, or as close as it can get, and a human when somebody's still human, not angelic, or life force, vital life force, energy. You guys get it. I can feel you shifting. So on this interview today, the woman, it was one of the most pleasurable interviews, and I've been on hundreds and hundreds of them I've yet to have. And she said, you know, I've never interviewed somebody who works as much with life force as me, like you. And so she was really picking up on that aspect of life force. And I found that interesting too. And I also, she asked me to predict, like, what do I see coming up in February and in March? And I don't like to nag. I don't like to lecture. I feel like if everything is choice, you get to a point of recognizing something and shifting from choosing different actions that lead you to that, and then you shift internally. It doesn't come about when you're being nagged at or lectured at. And so I don't typically use that as a tool. Plus, it doesn't feel good inside of me when if I'm doing that. I don't even do it, so I can barely relate to say when I'm doing that. But what came through today when she was asking for that prediction was some sense of a warning. And I'll let you guys know that interview when it goes live at the end of February, because some of you, especially the more advanced folks, would really appreciate it. We went in some new directions. So it was a warning that came through me, and I wasn't excited to transmit it. She was asking for a transmission, but yet I let myself anyway. And the warning was, if we all pull out of this COVID gig and we haven't shifted, or we haven't recognized see, even that energy right there, like it feels that lecture energy, right? Like a little bit of negativity, that warning. Like nobody wants warning. I don't like to live to operate. Like I have stubbornly resisted for years marketing based on fear. Here's the problem. My work is the solution format that all marketing uses. I've been doing inspirational marketing from the beginning, and some of you have heard me talk about this, wrestling with my business coach when she was like, just present it this way, it'll be more effective. And I've been like, no. And it's cost me money, time, and energy, but I've been doing inspirational marketing and educational marketing to help with the shift. So I don't come from this warning positioning lightly. I lived out of the country, not just for the 10 years in Asia, but in other countries, and it's not the same outside of America. The massive amount of marketing that just presents problems to us, or the media. So it's with great awareness that I am choosing to go into a semi-warning here. And who wants to hear it? Anyway, you know, you don't want to be lectured at, but it's just coming out of this COVID thing, being aware of the need for gratitude and aware of the need to work with consciousness and the life force, and being cognizant of the parts of us that exist beyond that roaring ego mind and intellect. We need, so that we do shift into a more unity, heart coherent, uplifted, higher vibration overall, which also helps our earth. And that's what I've been working for all these years. And so when I give that warning, it's being able to, like, this is not my favorite thing to do. I enjoy more working at the level of magic manifestation and money flow, my signature program, and then with my masterminders who all go through that program, because that's where I'm helping people who I've helped get beyond in 3M, meaning magic manifestation and money flow. That's where I'm doing a lot of the nitty gritty work day in and day out with the folks to get them to go beyond the ego mind's nattering, the worrying, the anxiousness, the fear of being judged, all of that lower vibratory, that the mind goes into. So where I love to work, though, I mean, I'd love to get that freedom when it's clear a person has now pulled out of, my mind is in control of me, into now they have taken reign over their mind. They've reined it in. They've taken their reign over it. They've taken their seat. And then going into being able to access what exists beyond that, the levels of consciousness and the levels of subtle energy that we can then access, working beyond just the mind, and helping folks live up to their potential, whatever their own unique potential is. You can hear it in every single clearing I do. So I think you can sense that contrast. Like, I prefer to live in the potential and rather than the warnings. and yet I'll help people rein in the mind because I have particular skills at that, apparently, from doing it myself, for myself for so long and with others. But my joy is really in helping to help people learn how to live from the life force and their intuition and their vertical connection, not their horizontal connection, right? So one of the things that requires is being a bit brave to step out of your everyday comfort zone, being a bit courageous to move beyond what you are familiar with, and honoring your heart's calling without knowing the results ahead of time, but just taking a risk. And that Leo full moon we're under right now is all about this. It was really fun doing the full moon sacred activations for Activate Your Magic people. And as you heard Claire say, you can get a free month of Activate Your Magic when you buy the Dragon Master Creatrix. Go on to the title of the book.com, the dragonmastercreatrix.com. It's on my website. And then you get those 3 videos, and one of them is solstice, half an hour of me doing all sorts of activations for abundance and harvest and fertility and making a wish for your love life, and strong work on the third eye and strong work on the third chakra right from the center of this, the biggest stone circle, second to Avebury over in Ireland. And then 2 more, one of me flowing energy right at you from the top of the Pyramid of the Moon at the Teotihuacan Mayan ruins outside of Mexico City, and then the top of the Pyramid of the Sun, where you get a balancing of the yin and the yang. So you can get those sacred activations for both the full moon and the new moon, the Zoom events, and then an hour-long call of group clearings live, one Tuesday night a month, is a part of the Activate Your Magic. So when you buy the Dragon Master Creatrix on Amazon, go to that dragonmastercreatrix.com page, put in your info like Claire said, and then you'll get the free month of Activate Your Magic and those 3 videos, which you please only watch those videos 1 time a day. They're super, super strong, especially if you're not one of my masterminders and haven't been on retreat with me. I did some of the activations for bravery and courage aligned with the full moon for Activate Your Magic. So I'm not going to necessarily do those here, but what I am going to do in just a moment is another aspect of this full moon that we are under today is it's a fortuitous full moon. It's very auspicious. It brings in good tidings, and it brings in this energy of joy, more joy and more excitement, in this sense that perhaps projects that haven't had momentum can finally release. Like Claire was saying, tons of people want to write a book and they never get it done. People have come into 3M and then the mastermind, and I've helped them get books done. That's one of the ways people use those programs with me for. But the other aspect of, and I did those clearings with the Activate Your Magic, the more initial way to work with me membership. So again, that's their clearings for getting the projects to move along. But there is also this sense of stepping into where you're taking full responsibility, you're taking ownership over your own life and recognizing the power in your choices that you're either avoiding making, that you're not making, that you're resisting making, that you are making, but they're less than. Like you've just made a lower choice than what you are being guided to make. That's the nature of this full moon too. So it's setting us up as we're pulling out, as we're just starting to pull out of these heavier energies we've been in since 2020. The first full moon we get with the sense of lightening is one that asks us to take full responsibility and ownership over our own lives. So when we're worrying, when we're being anxious, we're not in that all is well vibe. We're not taking ownership over our own lives. I know that may sound radical to some of you, but when you are hearing a worrying thought in your mind, you don't have to listen to it. Do you have any idea how porous you are? Do you have any idea how many other people are worrying and aren't on calls like this? And bless you for showing up to something like this. The amount of worry that exists in the collective pool that you are tethered to because you are porous, not solid and separate. that you're picking up from the collective, yeah, but that you blame yourself for. And then it spins your mind, fueling the worrying, and then you own those worries as if they're yours. And you let it spin you. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about, feeling so many of you shift right now. So when I'm saying take responsibility for your own life and be in the driver's seat over your own life, recognizing the power you have in choice, as I run clearings and activations, it's to get you quicker accessing that detachment, the ability to not listen to that thought, the ability to have more space, more consciousness so that you can observe what your mind's up to, but not at the mercy of it. And that kind of dynamic is what also will make you feel like you're at the mercy of everything going on around outside of you. That's horizontal alignment. And what I'm talking about is bringing you out of the, not even just slowly, but gradually, is bringing you out of that horizontal alignment and back into the vertical alignment. And as we do that, we clear out so much of the density, the unconsciousness and stuff buried in the subconscious that shows up as blocks throughout your chakra system. Then you have more consciousness or chi or that vital life force energy flowing, and you have more access to it. And that includes more intuitive flow, more intuitive guidance, and more flow overall, including love, energy, money, opportunities coming in because you're in that flow. And it's not, as the colloquialism says, being in the flow. It's much, much, much more beyond that, frankly. I'm scratching my head. So that's that. What I'd like to do first, though, is I really felt you all respond to that, being able to take more responsibility, being able to worry less. Let's do a clearing around you having difficulty not worrying, you having difficulty not being anxious. If you guys are up for that, will you say yes?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, that's a lot of yes. Okay, good. It was a dull, maybe you guys are just waiting for me to go because it wasn't a lot of yesing. I was feeling energetically. I didn't know if it was too low level for you all. How great is that? Okay. So this will include me helping you detach more. One of the primary reasons why I want to do it is that from the collective field of worry that's so up on the planet right now. Okay, here we go. And you're going to want to say yes out loud at the appropriate point. It invites the energy into you more. Anything and everything that is causing you to continue to listen to your worrying mind, to continue to even have a worrying mind, to have a mind that doesn't rest easily in the all is well vibration. Would you be willing to burn up with the flames of transmutation? This is where you want to say yes out loud. Yes. Yes. Okay. So any and all free-floating thoughts and traumas that are in any way perpetuating the worrying mind, blocking your access to living in the all is well vibration. Any and all of the imprints from your parents and parents' parents and lineage. It's rather strong. Any and all of the conditioning in the current field of the masses, of the collective, burning all of that influence up. Any and all of the karma as appropriate. Yours and collective karma as appropriate, please. Any and all of the contracts, oaths, vows, swearings across all timelines and lifetimes, in any and all of the expectations, the judgments, the beliefs you have at any level of consciousness that keep you tethered to the worrying mind, the anxious mind, the having a problem to fix mind, blocking your access to the all is well, and living in that vibration, burning it all up now with the flames of transmutation. I'm going to ask that to keep running, please, for the next 30 days for each beloved listener's highest and best, whether listening live or to the replay, or both. Activating the upgrade now. So any and all latent keys and codes and ancient wisdom and latent or inherent talents within you, and any and all blessings and support possible to bring this all into alignment with your at least fifth dimensional divine blueprint for your highest possibilities and your highest potential to be realized. Activating the upgrade now. Good receiving, y'all. Okay, so let's go ahead and go into the good fortune activation. I'm going to spend, well, right now I say this, but wait until I'm in the clearing. It might be different. I'm going to spend less time in the clearing and more time in the activation. This is a fun one for me and for you too. So anything and everything that doesn't allow for you to take advantage of this fortuitous full moon's good fortune, anything and everything that doesn't allow for you to have more good fortune and more good luck and more auspicious synchronistic opportunities in your life, would you be willing to burn up with the flames of transmutation?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Okay, so any and all imprints from your parents and imprints from your lineage, any and all free-floating thoughts and traumas that are in any way limiting, restricting, or blocking you having increasing good luck and good fortune and auspicious synchronicities that help you, burning all of those free-floating thoughts and traumas up with the flames of transmutation. All conditioning, all karma as appropriate, all contracts, oaths, vows, swearings, promises across all timelines and lifetimes that are in any way limiting your good fortune and good luck in your life, and having auspicious synchronicities, and all beliefs and expectations and even projections and decisions you've ever made and beliefs you hold at any level of consciousness around that block you from having increasing good luck and good fortune and auspicious synchronicities and possibilities. I'm going to burn it all up now with the flames of transmutation. Really good receiving. Activating the upgrade now. Sending all latent keys and codes and latent or inherent talents within you. And any and all blessings and support possible to bring this all into alignment with your at least fifth dimensional divine blueprint for your highest possibilities and your highest potential to be realized. Activating the upgrade now. Oh, you guys are so sweet. Really sweet hearts. Good receiving. Okay, so we're moving into now the time of the call where I'll be taking, and again, I apologize. I don't ever know what went down with the Q&A for the webcast, those of you on the webcast, but the questions don't come to us anymore. And we've worked with the tech issues with their support, and it's not gotten resolved a couple of different times. So more of you are on the phone lines now. That's great. You can work with me live. I'll follow my guidance to see who I call on so that they'll contribute to all of you when I do the clearings and coaching for that particular person. So press star 2, and you too can step up. Remember, being courageous and brave, making new choices, taking ownership over your life. We have this full moon helping shift us into even more the new era. So one announcement I want to make while you guys kind of maybe get a drink of water, shuffle around in your seat, and those of you who want to get some one-on-one work, press star 2. Here it is. Those of you lovelies who have already ordered the book and are raving about it and enjoying it, here, and those of you who are about to buy it or have already bought it while we've been on this call, you are going to be given another opportunity here in the theme of, and by the way, what I found really interesting is this COVID obviously hits the respiratory system. That's the co-creator's channel, primarily. The 4th, the heart chakra. The 5th, the throat chakra. I talk about that in my second book. It was around 2016 that I started to see this pattern in my different clients that I was working with and people all over the place when I was doing group calls like this or interviews, that there was a column opening between the heart and the throat to help increase the capacity to make more courageous choices based on what your heart's calling for. Because the throat chakra is the one that we make choices from and have courage to make those choices. That's the throat chakra. And the co-creator's channel, what is interestingly, what's affected from COVID and what we're being asked to move into with this first full moon that feels like it's really moving us forward, is stepping into that role. Hey, by the way, it was still in January, and that 50% off, basically BOGO sale on all the products in the shop is still going on through the end of January, and then we're going to stop it. And so many of you have taken advantage of it, and well done on you. Do it for the 4th and 5th. If you don't just buy the entire chakra column because it's like a 2-minute audio series because it's half off, then like many of you have done, really smart to get all of them, whole different ballgame when you do. Get the 4th and the 5th. It's the co-creators channel. It's going to strengthen you for what you need in these new times. So in that co-creators channel, why am I bringing that up? Because I wanted to mention that I had seen that too when I was treating my brother for COVID. And then the sales still going on. And then the announcement I want to make that some of you saw in the free Facebook group is if you give a review, what I want to do to honor stepping into more courageous choosing and taking responsibility for your life, stepping into that role of creating your life. I want to encourage you to do that. So what we're going to do for a bonus, if you give a review, because the way the game's played is that it will stay ranked higher on Amazon. You guys helped with the game playing by ordering the Kindle for free in the first 3 days of the release. Thank you so much, all of you who contributed to that. That's the game in the first release time to get it to number 1, and enough people around the world ordered it. Then now the game is to have more reviews and, preferably positive ones. So if you give a review for the Dragon Master Creatrix on Amazon, what I'm going to do is at the end of your review, the last sentence, I am choosing to create, then you fill in the blank. Don't make it like a paragraph. One sentence and maybe like 5 words. I am choosing to create, and you fill in the blank and put a pound or a hashtag sign after it. And then I'll know that you've heard this, and I will come in and do a special blessing for each of you. That's what I'm up to day in and day out in magic manifestation and money flow, and then mastermind is helping people achieve their goals by using the blessings that I have in my field. That's what you just received, and you're going to get ready to receive now. I'm so blessed, and I've learned how to cultivate that, and I'm sharing it. So here we go. I'm going to call on one of you now. You ready? Let me see who's ready. Oh, my God, there's so many of you. Okay. Give me just a moment, please. Going to Connecticut. I'm going to Romantic, Connecticut. The area code 860, last 4 digits. There's no name. Last 4 digits, 4361. Hello?
Hello.
It's you. What's your name?
Hi, Patty.
Hi, Patty. I don't know that I know you. Do I know you yet?
I'm the woohoo girl.
Oh, this is Patty Roberts.
Patty Roberts.
Hi. Yay.
Hi. Wow, this is magnificent. Hello, thank you.
Thank you for saying thank you.
Woohoo!
Indeed. Woohoo! What can I do for you?
I would love to come in to 3M. I am so ready. I have your beautiful new book. I'm right here with you. I feel synchronized with you. I get it. Yeah, so do you want to just tune into my field? Do you want me to speak?
You choose. I could for you, but right, the whole theme is stepping into more of that ownership over your life. So you make the choice, my dear.
I have the full chakra series. It's also magnificent. I feel the beautiful shift. Yeah, and speaking freely, end of 2019 into 2020, in the early, I just would like to say that I know what it feels like, what you were saying about that energy. I didn't take a test or anything, but intuitively I knew that something was up in my field. So when you say about the kind of energy that it is, and I'm speaking into stand, command, and demand, I drew on everything I had. Yeah.
Say it, sister. Say it.
I felt something. And I'm like, before it, became, it was in the early, before it became worldwide, I'm like, something's not right. And I really went deep, and I'm like, something is really coming on a pace. So I stepped up. It stepped up more. I stepped up even more. It was trying to get a foot. Oh my God. And I remember stand, command, and demand. I laid still in my bed, and I went into the place of stand. That's what it felt like. Stand, command, demand. Stare it down, look it right in the face. And I said, this is my space. This is my ownership of my space. Yes, you feel me? That's all I'm going to say, with respect to, I'm alluding to, but I get it. Mm-hmm. And from that point on, I view last year as a gift. So many positive, changes that are birthing, bringing it forward. Yeah, you feel me? I know. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, you're blossoming, Patty. I've been watching you.
Yes.
I'm sure you can feel me watching you.
Yes, I can.
Will come in. Excellent. Yes.
So that all right. That channel. Go ahead. Yep, it's your ball. Go ahead.
No, what were you going to say?
I get it. I get a visual. I can perceive from this greater field of possibility. I get, gifted intuition. So from my heart chakra through my throat, and so the solar plexus, the co-creator's channel. Yeah, there's like this, and in fact, when just now, when you spoke what you said, everybody ready? I said ready. Can I just say I drew on that place.
Well done.
Activated it, and I said, yes.
I had no idea it was you. I had no idea that it was you. All right, so you're bringing up a couple of things. I am going to take the ball and run with it, and I am in such gratitude to you. Namaste to you.
Thank you.
Thing, yeah, well done. Taking ownership over your field. You're bringing up something that I want to speak to as far as, you guys brush your teeth, you all brush your hair, you take care of a shower. We want to be taking care of our energy fields with that same attentiveness. I know I have burned more sage than what I usually do in a week. A lot of the times I'm doing in one day throughout this year. Thankfully, I went to a powwow, a Native American powwow, right before it hit here, and I got an industrial-sized bag of sage, carrying it around for the rest of the powwow, to the point that other attendees working in their teepees selling their crafts were asking me where did I get it and how much was it, because it was so big. So I'm still working off of that bag while I ordered another round. So every morning when you get up, you want to, the Chinese refer to sleep as little death, and so you want to get yourself back in your body, and you want to clear your field, and sage is a great way to do that. If you can't stand the smell of sage, that's actually indicative. It's the same thing when you're using frequencies. Certain kinds of frequencies may get into your backbone and rise it up, and you may feel uncomfortable. That's because they're actually homeopathic. They're working on the very thing to peak it before it releases. So I know there's been studies done on sage where it's the white desert sage, where it's the positive ions are getting pulled out of the air, which means the negative energy is getting dissipated from the smoke of the sage. And interestingly, when there's more smoke, like if you go around your house and sage it, the areas that it's smokier. I mean, unless you've just lit it and it's burning madly, don't read it as that. But other than that, first light, when the smoke is densest, that's where it's working on the negativity. So I'm just going to leave that for what it is. You can also get mists that clear your aura or clear your field, and commanding it, like Patty just said, that's the key. You don't need any of those other accoutrements like the sage or any other external materials. All you need is to step into your throne, sit in it, stand or command and demand, because you'll be seated, the dominion over your own field. So then the second thing I wanted to say is, again, well done, Patty, really well done. I can feel the growing strength and power in you. And it's interesting that you said the co-creator's channel, yes, it's the fourth and fifth, the heart chakra up to the throat chakra, but then you brought in the solar plexus, and that's not a part of the co-creator's channel. But in the last 3 months, I've been starting to see something along the lines of the co-creator's channel, but a channel now connecting from the heart down to the third, as if to infuse the third with more power, and as if to infuse what we're creating, because manifesting out onto the physical plane our desires, that having the right to desire what we desire is all the third chakra, as well as other things. So being connected to the heart makes sense as we move forward into more physicalizing this new era where we're heart-led instead of mind-led, for a very overly simplified summary of this new era. The next thing that I want to get to is, Patty, you brought this up, and it's actually something that I wanted to do. So would you all be willing to do, I'm not going to get up right now from where I am and open up the line so I can hear you all. I'm going to just feel you out. Would you all be willing to use your beautiful hearts in such a way that I run some kind of command? It's not going to be a clearing and activation, but some kind of invocation to bring in more light towards COVID. Yeah, you guys are willing to serve. Thank you. So some of you may work with and my beautiful masterminders and vibrational upgrade practitioners who have already been attuned and trained at least to the first level and second level on your first retreats. If you want to invoke accordingly, yeah, symbols. Let's go ahead and either you're focusing, whoever you are, you're focusing either on white cleansing light. You'll recognize this, those of you who are with us in the Facebook Lives in March and April and May, the daily Facebook Lives for COVID in different areas around the world. And those are still on my YouTube channel, if any of you want to go suss out some support for COVID. The white light, like a shower, cleaning, purifying, so like a shower head or even a waterfall if you want to work with that visual, or violet flame if that is more where you're resonating. So whatever has allowed at the metaphysical, beyond the physical level, COVID to exist and to grow and to perpetuate and to take on new forms and to be this virulent. Maybe we picture it. Another visual is it's like you're sending lasers at like a bad, I don't want to say planet to blow up, but you're sending lasers at something to blow it up. Supply the light. Really good, you guys are flowing it. And I ask for any and all support of unconditional love from the Ascended Masters realm and beyond to come in during this invocation, and please support this coherent field of joined hearts, holding the desired intention to clear planet Earth of COVID-19 and all its mutations as quickly as possible for humanity's highest and best. Hold the visual, y'all, please. Doing it from that stand, command, demand place that Patty's talking about, those of you who know of it or can infer from what she said. Flowing water, like crystal springs, is a really good one to use. Purifying and cleaning. And then we could also picture the crisscrossing grid on planet Earth that's anchored in at different sacred sites across the planet. Helping this light, this purifying, cleansing light, visualize it streaming out on these grids that were originally called dragon lines, and now we refer to them as ley lines. start from where you are and expand out from your state, your country, your continent, your hemisphere. Across oceans. And you may notice your own intuition staying at a certain location, and stay with it. It may be the first time it's happening for you. It's because you're working with me, because I do this on a daily basis. And so I have certain helpers helping. And know that our earth, these dragons that are helping, are able to burrow deep into their lines that were originally created by them and consume dense energy in a way that ascended masters and archangels just can't lower their vibrations enough to do so. Under the earth, throughout these ley lines, more light being grounded on a beloved earth, surrounding and infusing humanity, creating a momentum for all as well. Creating the momentum for the positive messaging of full vitality and health and well-being. Joy, hugging, face-to-face in-person gatherings, running, jogging, swimming, health, vital life force energy pulsating all throughout our beloved Mama Earth and for all of humanity, up in the Himalayas, down in the poles, up in the poles, up to Greenland, down to Australia, from Alaska over to Beijing, from Mongolia down to Abu Dhabi, from Joburg or Cape Town in South Africa, up to Glastonbury, United Kingdom, up to the Orkney Islands, the Shetland Islands up in Scotland, over to Newfoundland, down to Florida, through the Caribbean, through Central America, Argentina, Brazil, Venezuela, Chile, Peru. Turn it up, please, you guys. Turn up the volume just a little bit more before we complete. Beautiful response. Thank you. Thank you, Patty. That was lovely, y'all. You can come back in and listen to this daily if you want to contribute to the clearing out of COVID and the flourishing of humanity in our earth. Thank you, Patty.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Allison. Namaste.
Namaste.
Woohoo.
Yeah, a good soft one. See you in 3M sooner rather than later, my dear.
Thank you.
Okay.
See you soon.
Okay, so oh, it's tempting. I'm going to end there. That feels really in honor of the theme of this moon, what clearings I did before that one, ending with it. Really good book-ended call. Thank you all. Speak soon. Be well. Blessings. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Blessings.
Love you. Bye.
The moderator has left the conference.